Welcome to the Season 1 compilation video of the Quest Lore series. In this season we completed all 21 free-to-play quests currently available in Old School RuneScape, starting with Cook's Assistant, which was one of 6 quests available during RuneScape's launch. The Cook is in a state of panic because he's forgotten some of the ingredients required for the Duke of Lumbridge's birthday cake. To complete this quest you must collect a pot of flour, a bucket of milk and an egg and deliver these to the Cook. This is the most completed quest in the game, with over 1 million people having completed it across RS3 and Old School RuneScape. Completing this quest is a requirement for Recipe for Disaster. Demon Slayer is the second quest ever released on RuneScape. You get your fortune told by a gypsy. She sees visions of a demon named Doric, who tried to destroy the city of Varrock 150 years ago and was stopped by a hero named Wally, using his magic sword Silverlight, trapping the demon in a stone circle just south of the city. The gypsy sees the demon returning in her visions, and she also sees you holding Silverlight and stopping the demon this time round. You learn that the demon is trapped by reciting the correct magical incantation. Silverlight has been passed down through Wally's descendants and is currently in the care of Surprising, one of the King's Knights. He informs you that the weapon was put in a special box which needs 3 different keys to open. Surprising dropped his key down the drain behind the kitchen of the castle. You can collect it by emptying a bucket of water down the drain and then retrieving it from the sewers below. Captain Rovin has another key. You can keep arguing until he gives you his key. Wizard Trayborn has the other key. To obtain his key, he requires 25 bones to cast the spell. Now, with all 3 keys obtained, Surprising can give you Silverlight. When you approach the stone circle, a cutscene is played showing Delrith being summoned. You then proceed to attack Delrith with Silverlight equipped, and you say the magical incantation and he is defeated once again. Completing this quest is a requirement for Shadow of the Storm quest and for freeing the Lumbridge Guide subquest in Recipe for Disaster. The Restless Ghost is the third quest ever released on RuneScape. Father Eric tells you that a ghost is haunting the graveyard in Lumbridge. He directs you to Father Ernie, who's living as a hermit in Lumbridge Swamp. Father Ernie hands you the Ghost Speak Amulet, which allows you to speak with ghosts and informs you that ghosts are doomed because they left some important task incomplete. You talk to the ghost, who is surprised that you understand him and tells you that a warlock stole his skull and that he lives in the wizard's tower. You take the skull and a spooky scary skeleton comes to life. You place the skull back in the coffin and the ghost is released. The Ghost Speak Amulet is required for the Creature of Fenkenstrain quest. This quest is also a requirement for Animal Magnetism, Cabin Fever, Curse of the Empty Lord, Ghosts Ahoy, Making History, and the Nature Spirit quests. Romeo and Juliet is the 4th quest ever released on RuneScape, and it roughly follows the story written by William Shakespeare. Romeo is in love with a girl named Juliet and wants you to go tell her that he loves her. Juliet gives you a letter to deliver to Romeo. Her father doesn't approve of their affection, but Juliet does mention that Father Lawrence may be able to help. You speak to Father Lawrence, who comes up with the plan for Juliet to drink a potion that makes her appear dead, and then she is taken to a crypt so Romeo can find her. To make the potion, the apothecary needs just 1 item, cadaver berries. Once you give him these berries, the potion is made, and you give it to Juliet. She faints and is taken to the crypt. In the crypt, Romeo ends up distracted by Juliet's cousin Philippa and completely forgets about her. Completing this quest is a requirement for making friends with Myarm. Shearer is the 5th quest ever released on RuneScape, although it's technically the oldest quest having existed, albeit in incomplete form, in Devious Mud. Farmer Fred's sheep are too woolly and he asks you to shear them and to spin 20 balls of wool. That's it. Sheared Off RF is the 6th quest ever released on RuneScape and the last of the original quests that were released with the game's launch. You ask Reldo for a quest. He tells you to find a book called The Sheared Off Arrav. You find the book, which details a hero named Arrav who had a shield. For over 150 years, this was the prize piece of the Royal Museum of Varrock. However, it was stolen by a gang of thieves known as the Phoenix Gang, so the king put a 1,200 gold bounty on the return of the shield. This is one of the only quests in the game where you can choose a path, join the Phoenix Gang or join the Black Arm Gang. You'll also need a partner that joins the other gang to complete this quest. If you wish to join the Black Arm Gang, talk to Charlie the Tramp. To join the Phoenix Gang, talk to Doric. Charlie the Tramp informs you about the Black Arm Gang hideout. Catherine, the leader of the gang, says that she needs 2 Phoenix Gang crossbows to frame a murder on her rival gang, allowing the Black Arm Gang to be the only gang of thieves in Varrock. You need your partner to drop you the weapon store key. Once inside, you kill the weapon master and get 2 crossbows. You give these to Catherine and she makes you a member of the Black Arm Gang. Inside the hideout, upstairs in a cupboard, you find 1/2 of the Shield of Arrav. When you deliver the half shield to the museum, the curator gives you 2 copies of 1/2 of the certificate. To get the other half of the certificate, you need your partner to exchange the other half shield. To join the Phoenix Gang, Beric informs you of the location of their hideout. Inside, you talk to Straven, who wants you to kill a contact of their rival gang called Johnny the Beard, who will drop an intelligence report. Bring this to Straven and he'll welcome you as a member of the Phoenix Gang. Inside their hideout, you can find the other half of the shield, which returns 2 of the other half of the certificate. Now you can trade your half certificate with your partner, making a whole certificate, which you give to the king, and he rewards you with 600 coins, which is half the original bounty. Completing this quest is a requirement for the Hero's Quest. Ernest the Chicken is the 7th quest ever released on RuneScape. Veronica's fiancé Ernest went into Draenor Manor to ask for directions but hasn't left in over an hour. You go look for him and meet Professor Odenstein, who informs you that Ernest was turned into a chicken and that the machine that could revert him back into his human form is broken, and the house gremlins took bits of the machine. You go look for the pieces. You grab some fish food and some poison. Joining these items and using it on the fountain kills all the piranhas, allowing you to safely retrieve the pressure gauge. Then you dig a dirt patch, finding a key that allows access to a room where a rubber tube is. Finally, you go to the basement of the manor and solve a puzzle with doors and levers to retrieve the oil can. You bring these items to Professor Odenstein. He fixes the machine and reverts Ernest back to his human form. Completing this quest is a requirement for animal magnetism. Vampyre Slayer is the 8th quest ever released on RuneScape. Morgan says that a vampire residing in Draenor Manor has been ravaging Draenor Village and asks you to slay it. He informs you of a retired vampire hunter called Dr. Harlow, who can be found at the Blue Moon Inn in Varrock. Upstairs you can find a garlic in the cupboard. Keeping this in your inventory will weaken the vampire. After giving Dr. Harlow a beer, he hands you a stake and says that you'll need a hammer. Once geared up, you go to Draenor Manor and fight the vampire. Once it's low on health, you stab the stake through its chest, killing it and completing the quest. Imp Catcher is the 9th quest ever released on RuneScape. Wizard Misgog tells you that Wizard Greyzag doesn't like him, so he enlisted an army of hundreds of imps that stole all sorts of his things. He cares mainly about the 4 different coloured magic beads. Kill imps until you obtain these, give them to Wizard Misgog, and he'll reward you with an Amulet of Accuracy. Prince Ali was kidnapped by Lady Kelly. You talk to Osmond, who gives you 2 instructions. First one is to make a disguise. To make it, you talk to Keela, who suggests making a blonde wig from 3 balls of wool and some yellow dye, then some skin paste from ashes, red berries, flour and water, and you'll also need a pink skirt and some rope. The second one is to make a copy of the cell key. To make it, you talk with Lady Kelly and ask her to see the key, which you imprint onto some soft clay. You give this to Osmond and he makes you a copy of the key. With everything ready, you give 3 beers to Joe, who's guarding the cell where the prince is kept. With the guard drunk, you can use the rope on Lady Kelly and open the cell, giving Prince Ali the disguise. Now that the prince has successfully escaped, you return to Al Kharid to collect the reward. Completing this quest is a requirement for Contact. Also, you can now pass the gate between Lumbridge and Al Kharid without paying a 10 GP fee. You ask Doric if you can use his anvil. He says to bring 6 clay, 4 copper and 2 iron ore, which I happen to have already. Quest complete. Completing this quest is a requirement for Devious Minds. Black Knight's Fortress. To start this quest, you need 12 quest points. Sir Amic Vaz needs a spy to investigate the Black Knights. Your mission is to find out their new secret weapon and destroy it. To infiltrate the fortress, you need a bronze med helm and an iron chain body. After running your way through the fortress, you find a grill through which you hear a conversation between a witch and a goblin. You find out that to destroy the potion, you must add a normal cabbage, or in other words, one that didn't grow in Draenor Manor. You return to Sir Amic Vaz, tell him you sabotaged the weapon and he rewards you. Completing this quest is a requirement for Recruitment Drive and King's Ransom. Witch's Potion. You tell Hetty the Witch that you'd like to learn more about the black arts. She says she's making a potion and needs 4 ingredients, some burnt meat, an eye of newt, an onion and a rat's tail. You give her these items and she adds it to the potion. You drink from the cauldron and the quest is complete. Goblin Diplomacy. The goblin race is on the brink of civil war. General Bentnose and General Wartface are arguing over which armor color is best. You suggest a different color to settle their differences. First orange, which they dislike, then blue, which they also dislike, and finally brown, which they think is best after all. Completing this quest is a requirement for the Lost Tribe and recipe for disaster. Pirate's Treasure. Captain Redbeard wants some Karamjan rum, and if you can get him some, he'll tell you the location of some treasure. On Karamja, you get the rum and pick up 10 bananas. Luthus offers you 30 coins to fill up a crate with bananas, where you hide the Karamjan rum. Back in Port Sarin, you can enter the back of the food store by equipping a white apron. In the crate with a banana on it, you find the rum and bring this to Captain Redbeard. He gives you a key to a chest found in Varrock, upstairs in the Blue Moon Inn. Inside the chest is a note with a clue. In Falador Park, you find an X in the dirt and dig, finding one-eyed Hector's treasure chest. Completing this quest is a requirement for Cabin Fever. The Knight's Sword. Sir Vyvin's squire lost his sword and would like your help to replace it. He recommends talking to Reldo in Varrock's castle's library about Imcando dwarves. Reldo informs you that they love red berry pie. You find Thurgo, give him a red berry pie and ask if he can help you make the sword. He requires a portrait of the sword to make a new one. Back in Falador Castle, in Sir Vyvin's cupboard, you find a portrait. Then, in the Asgarnia Ice Dungeon, you mine some bluerite. You bring this and 2 iron bars to Thurgo, and he makes a new sword. You give this sword to the squire, and the quest is complete. Rune Mysteries. You ask Duke Horatio if he has any quests. He mentions he found a strange talisman, and asks you to take it to the head wizard of the Wizard's Tower. You hand the air talisman to Cedrador, who needs time to study it, and asks you to deliver a package containing his research to Aubrey and Varrock so he can offer his insights. If Cedrador's suspicions are correct, then this could be one of the greatest secrets ever known, so powerful that it destroyed the original Wizard's Tower centuries ago. Aubrey takes some time to read the notes, and thinks that this device could be the final piece to the puzzle. He gives you some notes to hand back to Cedrador. Cedrador shares what's been discovered with you. Aubrey found a teleportation spell leading to Rune Essence. He shared it with Cedrador, and now they're 2 of the only people in the world who know the spell. This is to prevent this power from falling into the wrong hands. With this quest complete, you now have access to the rune crafting skill. Completing this quest is a requirement for One Small Favor, The Lost Tribe, Wanted, Swan Song, Death to the Dorgshun, Lunar Diplomacy, The Slug Menace, What Lies Below, Another Slice of Ham, Dream Mentor, King's Ransom, Dragon Slayer 2, and Making Friends with My Arm. Misthalin Mystery. This quest was originally released as the 2016 Halloween event, but later passed a poll, making it a permanent quest. Abigail asks for your help. She was at a house party in a spooky manor on an island. Her boyfriend Huey was injured, so they escaped but still fear that the killer's on the loose. You go to the island and witness Sid being murdered by the killer. You then empty the rainwater from the barrel, finding a key that opens the manor. Then, you witness Tayton being murdered by the killer, who slides a note under the door, referring to a painting that has a ruby key in it. This key opens a room where a barrel of explosives and tinderboxes are found. You light the fuse and the explosion damages the wall, allowing you to climb over. Next, you witness Lacey being killed and you're given another note, this time referring to music. On the piano, you play the notes D, E, A, D, unlocking an emerald key. Inside the kitchen, you hear Mandy being killed and you're given a final note, a riddle that refers to the unlit fireplace. Input the correct order of gems and you get the sapphire key. For the showdown, you must point the mirrors towards the wardrobe, from which the killer will throw a knife from. You defeat the killer and find out that it was Abigail all along, with help from Huey. Abigail kills Huey over her selfishness of wanting to be the centre of attention, so you attack Abigail. Then she tries to kill you, but Mandy appears with her godsword defeating Abigail. She managed to survive the attack from the killer previously because her heart is located on her right side instead of her left. You speak to her outside the mansion and collect your reward. The Corsair Curse. Captain Tok tells you that his crew has been inflicted with a curse and he would like your help to investigate it. First, Ithoy claims that many things could have caused the curse. Arson the Thief believes that the curse was brought because he stole a sacred relic from the shamans. Cabin boy Colin believes that he brought the curse because he may have offended a mermaid, and Notchi the cook believes that a doll possessed by a demon caused it. You reclaim the ogre artifact from Captain Tok and return it to Chief Tess. She says that it's just a toothpick and that the shamans didn't curse the crew. By looking through the same telescope that cabin boy Colin used, you find out that the mermaid Colin was referring to was in fact an ogre. Also, it turns out that the doll Notchi was afraid of wasn't possessed, but was in fact a piece of clockwork. You explain the situation to Captain Tok and investigate Ithoy, who feared being dismissed from Tok's crew. He admits to poisoning them and faking his own illness. You prove that he's faking his illness by lighting a fire under his hut, which he puts out by using magic. Captain Tok asks you to kill Ifoy. You do this and return to the captain to complete the quest. X marks the spot. Vios travelled to Lumbridge on a treasure hunt after finding a scroll in the Great Korend. Since he's unfamiliar with this area, he asks you to complete it. The first clue step is just north of Bob's Brilliant Axes. The second spot is behind the castle. The third one is near Leela from the Prince Ali rescue quest. And the final step is in the pig pen in Draenor Village. Here you find a casket which you give to Vios. Quest complete. Dragon Slayer. You begin this quest by entering the Champions Guild, which requires 32 quest points, and speaking to the Guildmaster. He tells you to visit Ozyak in Edgeville to give you a quest. He asks you to kill Elvarg, a green dragon located inside the volcano on Crandor. You return to the Guildmaster to obtain as much information as possible for this quest. You learn that Crandor was once a peaceful island and a hub for trade between the major cities of the land, until one day an adventurer woke Elvarg and tried to kill it. This enraged the dragon, who then laid waste to the whole island, killing everyone except a trio of wizards who managed to escape, and they each kept a part of the map to Crandor. To obtain Melzar's map piece, you go through his maze, killing monsters in scaling difficulty and obtaining different coloured keys. At the end of the maze, you defeat Melzar the Mad and a lesser demon, then reaching a chest containing 1/3 of the map to Crandor. To obtain Thalzar's map piece, you speak to the Oracle on top of the Ice Mountain, who gives you a riddle. The solution is to go into the Dwarven Mine and using the following items on a magic door: silk, a lobster pot, an unfired bowl, and a wizard's mind bomb. This gives you access to another chest and another third of the map. To obtain Lozar's map piece, you talk to Wormbrain in Port Sarim jail. You can either pay him 10,000 coins or kill him and telekinetically grab the final map piece. You can get an anti-dragon shield by speaking to Duke Horatio in Lumbridge Castle. You also need a ship and a captain, so you purchase the Lady Lumbridge from Clarence and repair a hole in its side. Then you talk to Ned in Draenor Village to captain the ship. With everything ready, you set sail towards Crandor. Elvarg appears and sets fire to the ship, which then crashes on the island. You make your way into the volcano to fight the dragon, and once the dragon is defeated, you remove Elvarg's head and then show it to Ozyak. Completing this quest is a requirement for Hero's Quest. Thank you very much for watching. In the next video, I'm moving into the pay-to-play section of the game and completing Druidic Ritual. I'll also be making a Season 2 compilation video and sharing that on Reddit also. I would appreciate any feedback you may have, whether it's regarding the pacing or the editing of these videos. All feedback is welcome. Thanks once again for watching, and I hope to see you next time.